There you go. I was about to say, I know I'm tweaking. Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, whenever you're watching this. Um, it's a slow start. I had work yesterday, so I'm pretty sore. Uh, we're not gonna go any. I'm not gonna go on a tangent how I usually do. I try not to. This might be the first time I ever see me in a bonnet, because I'm really wearing caps, bandanas, or like scarves. But I mean, okay. Yesterday video, well, I wouldn't say yesterday because those are old videos, but I think the video that said pain was it's kind of it was I wouldn't say gruesome, but it's a little shine light in my evil doings. I wouldn't say evil doings, but my immature doings. And with that, not gonna lie, we lost some followers with that. I'm not gonna lie, we lost some. I checked. I was like, dang, it dropped. I was like, hey man, I'd rather be authentic than fake it with y'all. You know, as I said, I'm not really a good person, not an evil person, but not really a good dude in my past life. So this is not just to make up for it. It's more of a mature thing. In the past is in the past, but some things just don't last. Oh, Bahar's nigga. um, Generally speaking, a good attribute I feel like in my heart to have is a good personality. Not just being nice just to be nice or being nice to gain something. That's manipulation. It's a good attributes to have because you can gather and I love saying cultivate a group of people that understand you on a surface level. Once you get in a deeper dive of that person or me, maybe you'll understand me more. But the one thing I don't want to say is, oh, you got to agree with me 100% because that's impossible. That's like blind leadership. If you believe in somebody 100%, their goals and your goals must match to then the minute perspective of it, you know. And knowing me, I was very careless when I first started. The perception and how people perceived me was really holding to a standard that I could not reach. And here we go with this big ass beat. I don't know what he looking for, but that nigga big as hell. But I was just saying, yeah. Um, I feel like my main issue was that I feel like my whole identity was my physical attributes and what I could perform on the field or what could I perform joining, because in some way, manner of speaking, we're all entertainers. We're entertained. We're all actors. They're teaching you how to act. In some way, nobody's generally themselves in a way. It's how you talk, your inflections, what you wear, even on and off the camera. I tend to try to be the same person, but maybe the voices might change. Maybe something might change. Maybe my opinion may slanter. There's no such thing as being unbiased because your environment and the things that you experience will make you biased to some things. Like one thing that I would done, you wouldn't do because you feel like that was morally wrong or illogically wrong, right? So, not only excusing the issue or excusing that fact could be different between you and me. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's right. So the one thing I really wanted to get into that dawned on me was wasn't about the video. Wasn't about. I think it was called Pain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I was talking about I guess my so-called love life. It was pretty nitty gritty. I'm not gonna lie. But the one thing I really wanted to talk about is I always talk about perspective and perception and how people see you, but no, I want to talk about how full, 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 clear thing, right? You meet an individual, you don't know anything about them, but other people have rumors or so-called know them insightfully off of things they have heard or so-called seen. There's a 50-50 chance it could be true, it could not be not. Because you got to think, if multiple people are saying kind of the same thing about that person, maybe it's true, but not in the way that they think, right? then you're wondering this. You're wondering how. Bro, I just got an Amber Alert. God damn it. If it was a fake Amber Alert, why is there a helicopter out? Coincidence. But as I was saying, you're wondering if it's fully true, or or is it connected in some type of way, which it could not be known. So, you being perceived as something you aren't based off of actions that you have done when you're younger is detrimental to the person you're trying to become, your self identity. Right? So you connected with that person, right? Once you connect to that person in any shape or form, and then you leave on iffy terms. Okay, well, that's odd, but whatever. We're gonna go back to our spot. You leave on iffy terms. It makes you it makes you connect the dots that things have been hidden from you. You're like, okay, well, I see why these rumors are here, but they're not true. They're vague inferences and observations of the person that's not true. So basically, you know how like you have like a mythological creature or a person of great stature of high morals that did something great in the past, right? But it passed on through generations. Like they might be real, but they tend to become a folk's tale off of years and years of the story being uplifted and a little bit stretched to make them seem better than what they are. It's the same thing for individuals that you used to know or who you used to talk to. And basically, what I'm trying to say is, Deuce, how you doing? Once you, I feel like, once you disconnect to that individual, and you're gone, and you see them move on, and you see yourself move on, you tend to see that you were in the inside, you are in the inside looking out, and they were in the outside looking in, right? But once those things are replaced, you connect the dots and you see what is actually happening, and you see why their perception is different from that person because you have this semi kind of facts. You understand why they're the way they are or what they did, right? But outside, they only see the nitty gritty and the evil and the malicious so called intent of that person based off the things they have seen with their own eyes and based on what they heard. He say, she say. I feel like it's a dilemma, especially in like immature school shit and the workforce, sports, anywhere. That's just how humans are, innately promiscuous and I guess curious creatures. We are all like that, but not saying that it comes to an extent, right? What I'm basically trying to say is, you can disagree with somebody, but you can still understand where they're coming from without of this. Oh, I hate you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Block you. Stuff like that, right? The mature thing is to have an understanding of where they're coming from and how they're going against that or going across. Now, if they have some crazy ass opinion, like where somebody should be harmed or killed based off of what they like or who they are and not what they did, that's different. We don't get into that. Common knowledge is not common sometimes, right? I am nowhere near the smartest man, nowhere close. I am not intelligent. It's just the competency. I feel like the more confident you are and the more intrigued you are in some aspects of the world, it's way better to just argue. People love to argue. I love to argue too. Smart people, dumb people, no matter what you listed, what category you in, people love to argue, right? And I feel like if you throw all that away and you keep everything in a simplistic value and you keep your junk mature and you just vibe out and you don't overthink it, there's no reason to have hatred in your heart. I should know because I had hatred in my heart for a lot of people who have done other people that I knew or who I cared for wrong, not even me, right? Because, like, You could be in a situation with somebody and you tell your friends how they're doing you wrong, but you're still dating because that's one incident. So they only see the bad side of what you told them. So that's why it's good not to badmouth people that you love based off of one argument or one issue, you know? Where if I tell you, oh, he stole my cheese one time, but the whole time he replaced my cheese later on, and you only did it once, but they heard that story and you stretched it out, they're gonna be like, oh, he's a cheese stealer. I don't fuck with him. I don't know why you still with him. He's a cheese stealer. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it comes to the point where I feel like people try to word it into a different way to indoctrinate you into feeling a type of way for an individual or a whole class. There's complexity in almost every notch of the world of what you do. You know, there's a moment in my life where I wanted to move places. Right, I'm in the South right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the South. You know what I'm saying? There was a point in time in my world where I don't know. I had a sort of feeling that just felt not nostalgic but calming, because it was the smell, it was the temperature, it was where I at. It's the things I was wearing, the things that was appealing to me. Right at that moment, there was a different vibe. There was a different aesthetic to my life, to the point where I felt calm. Right, and I was missing those times. You don't miss the things that were in that time. You miss the nostalgia. You miss how you felt at that point in time, right? Right? There's some point in time in my life where I completely hated it. Right now, I'm indifferent. I have psychological and mental and physical pain, right, and discrepancies of me missing out, right? But never mind. It lost me. I was, I was trying to do my due diligence to understand how to fully explain it without using all these extra buzzwords and stuff like that. Basically, there's a certain feeling that you get in some areas of your life where you just don't understand why it is. But it's basically because once you're in that moment and your senses are overloaded with a great smell, a great passion, you feel way better than what you actually are now. This wait, I can't say that, I can't push that on you, but this point in time right now, you probably feel the best you have ever felt. Probably feel alive, more athletically inclined, muscular, all that. But there was a point in time in your life where you felt even better based off what you had, and you didn't know until it was gone. You don't know what you had until it's gone. A lot of people say that. It's a cliche, but it's very true. Right? It's a understanding factor that we must all go through to truly understand that, yes, I had a point in time when my life was the best, but now, even though it might not be the best, I know more and how I can experience my life even better than what it was. If that makes sense. You had a great point in time in the past, but you learned from the past, and now you can make a better future, basically, right? There's, I don't know. It's a lot of nuance to what I'm trying to say, without overcomplicating. Because there's so many people who want to be insightful and so clairvoyant of what's going on that they tend to add many buzzwords that they can to seem like they're this intrusive person. You don't need to do that, right? If you can use simplistic words and bend them into a way where there's easy easy way to understand it, even if it's used incorrectly, but you know what that individual is saying, I feel like that's the so-called point of intelligence in some way, But intelligence is not a linear path. It goes in different ways. So you can't really measure it in some ways. Well, you can, but in some ways you can't. I don't know. This is how it is. Either, I don't want to put it in a simplistic way how I used to do everything, but here it is. People who pretend to be smart are actually dumb. People who pretend to be be dumb and be smart, people who pretend to be dumb so people can assume they're smart but they're actually dumb. Basically, people will try to devalue themselves so other people can upbring them. It's like fishing for compliments, but in a complicated way. I used to do that. I probably still do in some ways. You do it subconsciously. You don't even know. You're like, well, I'm not that good at that, but it's whatever. And you're good at it. So make your weaknesses your strength and your strength your weaknesses, right? So you keep people on your toes. Yeah. Emotional manipulation is sought after for evil thing, but emotional manipulation can be positive or negative, or neutral, because we do it every day. You know, it's like conditioning, right? If I snap my fingers and then I punch you, right, and I do it over and over, that's simple conditioning. You can do that for any animal, any human. So you would be more scared of the snap than the action after. You know. I'm gonna send Deuce in the house real quick because it's been like what 16 minutes. All right, but yeah, honestly, right? So many things are impactful for what you do. Like some videos I'll talk like this. Some videos I'll talk to you how I talk to my cousins that are from Atlanta, or my cousin that's from the south, or sometimes I'll talk in a way where my accent slips out, and I talk to you from my people from New York, right? We all It's like code switching. We all have different tones and monotones of voices of who we're talking to or what we're trying to receive. You know what I'm saying? And it gets like that. So I feel like that's why I lost a lot of subscribers during that video, because I wasn't talking like this. I was talking to the phone or talking to the camera. How I was talking to how I would talk to my half brothers or my cousins down in the south or up in the north. So, and I guess the things I was talking about did seem like I was like a douchebag, off of my experiences, which is okay because, you know, the channel isn't for you if the things that I said came off of a way where you didn't understand it or it wasn't your type of vibe, It's completely understandable. Because one day I could be talking like this and the next day I can be, whatever. But I feel like, I wouldn't say I feel, because a lot of people be like, I feel, I sense. I know that it's a sign of intelligence if you're able to differentiate your dialect and your accents and so-called pattern recognition to other people so you can be understand across multiple platforms. Because it might even be superior if you can find one monotone, one so-called accent that is multiversal to the point where everybody can understand you no matter how you talk, right? That's what I'm trying to reach. That's why I'm probably going to take speaking classes, because I was never good at presenting or talking in front of the class. I had bad anxiety, still to this day. Bro, I used to cry trying to order pizza on the phone, bro. It was bad, gang. It was bad. But now we got everything online. Like, I couldn't be in no other generation. Bro, I'm hard, bro. It's hard to talk to people at the gas station to tell you what pump, how much money. Like, that's why everything's so, like, I'm so happy that I'm in the time where everything's on the phone. Because, bro, it's hard to talk to humans, bro. It's hard to talk to people, especially if you don't know them. But then you're going to be like, how do you network? How are you going to find people? How are you going to spread your music if you can't connect to people more than people that you knew from school, right? But I feel like you could connect a lot of people. We're all connected in some manner of speaking. If it's not the phone or by blood, it's by something else. Don't get me wrong, I am a spiritual dude, but I also believe in logic and science. But I'm not going to press that on you, be like, well, that's wrong, there's no point of preaching, because it comes off dickheadish and you lose the people that you actually talking to, So you can't obsess about things that you cannot control, which is common sense. Yes, you cannot obsess over things you cannot control. Yes, understand. But I used to still do that to this day. I used to still obsess about everything. Everything I couldn't control. I used to obsess about my height. I used to obsess about my weight, how my teeth look, how my eyes look, how my hair look. That was only exterior physical features that I try to control. What you can control is how healthy you are, how you speak, what you know, and how you can help others, right? But now that I'm older, my grandfather has told me he's not that old, but he's young, but he's young for a grandpa, but old for yeah, whatever. Right? He has taught me things that, at the time I didn't want to hear because I felt like he's nagging me just like my mother, but now I take it in stride because he's like, your individuality, I'm paraphrasing, but your individuality is most important to you because community is damn near gone, right? You gotta look out for your kin, look out for your people, as you said. I feel like it's a slap in my face, but there's a lot of things you don't need to put on the internet, like your family problems, if you're having a custody battle for your child, or don't put that on the internet because people will have opinions about you and they don't know the full story. So don't go run into the internet with your problems because the internet doesn't think how you do. There's a massive amount of minds and a massive amount of environments that other people have been in, so their opinion would be vastly different than yours, no matter what issue it is. So my voice could come off nagging, and I understand that. That's why I try to, be playful and think. But there's many things that people won't fully understand until they're older. Look at me. People, I said ages. Bro, I have said this in so many videos. I need to find a super fan that has watched all 430 of my videos that could go back and recatalog what I have been saying. No, I can find a super fan that's a fan of the music and the YouTube and all of it, bro. And he's like, he done his due diligence. One day. When I have said, people will push you aside based off your age and not your knowledge. Because once again, I know 40-year-olds that are dumb as hell, and I know people who are around my age and younger that are smart, but around us our wildest belief. It's because the brain is different. It's still manualable when we're, in this age because we're still evolving, we're still growing, we're going through puberty. So it's easier to intake stuff. Why do you think it's easier to learn languages when you're younger? Because you're just intaking stuff so fast, That's why they got like terrible tools, because you probably have a God complex. I have learned how to walk, speak a language, and people give me food when I cry. You're gonna have a God complex in some way, even teens. That's why teens our age think we know everything when we truly don't. The more you know, the more you know you don't know, Yeah, that's right. I could preach to you all day about, why my life didn't go where, why I didn't take the offer to go play ball, why I didn't do this. I can blame it on injuries, I can blame it on procrastination. But what you mainly have to understand that it's you. It's you. You are the controller of your faith in what you want to do. No matter how many obstructions or how many things that try to hamper you from getting to that finish line, even if the goalpost is moved, right? It's still in a visible line of sight. No matter how blurry your vision gets, it's still there. It is still there. And the reason I'm saying this now, because I have an overwhelming feeling that I'm not going to be here for long. I don't want to wish death on, but I feel like I'm fading. I don't know why. I've been doing checkups. I've been doing all type of things. But I feel like I don't have long. So that's why I'm rushing the music process. I'm rushing the YouTube. It's not the individually of me feeling safe. It's just I feel like I don't have long, so I'm trying to spread my forgiveness on all people I've done wrong, all the people I lied to, because I feel like I don't have long. I don't know why. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of it, but I have this over sixth sense of something's gone. But it's not coming now, but it will probably, I feel like I'm rushing it. I'm rushing this to rush the pain that I might have to go through, because I don't know, I had like a vision or something, or I'm at the top, and then before I even touch the peak, before I hit the fullest potential, it's gone. I don't know why. And I'm like, there's so many people that went like that. I don't want to go like that. So it's kind of hard to figure out why did I get the gall to spread the experience in my so-called spirituality now, right? This video will be seen and be put in a category for somebody's mental, like, oh, he's just a spiritual ass dude, or he's just yapping, he's just preaching, right? But this video could be impactful for somebody. It's just the way you word it and how you speak and how fast you're talking. You know, you could be talking about some serious shit, but if your tone is like comical or too serious, people will be overlooked. We're in an epidemic of self-awareness where it's strong enough to see when somebody's trying too hard, but not strong enough to see when somebody's trying enough. I don't know. So we're just trying to figure out how to create beats, how to make songs, right? Because I can't stay stagnant forever. I want to be international. I need to be international. But I can't save everybody if I can't save myself. I've been having dreams of giving my family from that's still in the project honest. I don't have a savior complex. I feel like I deserve it to them and the people who have created me, no matter how many times I've been beaten, bruised, and so-called disciplined to the point where I couldn't walk on spitting blood up my mouth. There's still, it might be idiotic, but there's still a point in time where you can forgive and not forget, but don't hold any pain towards that person, because at the end of the day, it's still your family. But it's not that. It's just, even if I was made off of hatred and a mistake, I feel like there's some part of me that should still help. I wasn't made off love, but I'm not gonna make it a sob story. Dang, my back, bro. My hips are weak. I need to do more hip mobility training. Ooh, my hamstring sore too. Ooh. But it's the good sore though. It was great doing this little, I don't even want to say TED Talk or seminar, but it was great. And I'll see you tomorrow.